Hey everybody, this is Alex Krupski back again for episode 5 of the Millennials in Print podcast, joined again by my co-host, Jake Hoffman. Today we have a very special guest on the show once again in Konrad Woelffer. He is an outside sales rep for Sappi Paper, obviously one of the biggest paper manufacturers in the world. And we're just so stoked to have our guy Konrad here today.
AKA the Texas Wonder Kid.
Texas Wonder Boy, I'll take it. I'll take
Texas Wonder Kid on the show.
I'll take it.
No, but as you guys can tell, we met Konrad a couple times. Awesome guy, and so honestly, let's just kick it off that way.
Yeah.
So
No, thanks for having me here too. I appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to it.
we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Super happy to have you. But yeah, just kick it off. Give us like a little bit of your background, kind of what you're all involved in.
Sure. Well, to start, I guess we can go into how I got into the industry. And for a lot of us, for Jake and I, for example, it's family.
Yep.
My father, his father, my grandpa, he was in print up in the Neenah-Menasha area. And when my dad got time to where he was going to go into work, he told my dad, "Don't go into print." So I kind of joke about that with him now and what he ended up going into. He went into paper sales. So when it came time for me to decide what I wanted to do, the door was open for me to get into the industry. I saw a lot of opportunities, and I have been able to talk to quite a few people by doing internships. And actually, I got to work at the Somerset Mill in Maine for a whole summer and got to experience how web paper was made. And a lot of that stuff you guys run here at the shop is what we produce at that mill. And as I graduated from college, Sappi engaged me and said, "Hey, we really like you, and we'd like to have you as a someone we could see in sales for the future." And you look at the industry and the other opportunities that I had available, Sappi was a great choice, and Sappi's still a great choice for anybody that's our age that wants to get into paper production, print.
Yeah.
Just look at the companies that want to invest in you, and right now, all printing and paper want to invest in our generation.
Young people.
Young
for
people,
sure.
because
it's
it's the silver tsunami out there. I don't know who coined that term, but I love the term because there's 3 of us that are millennials in this industry, and the more and more we engage with people of our age, the more I see it, but it's still not to the extent of what our friends or our peers have in their day-to-day business and who they interact with. Because
I think what's kind of funny about it, or it seemed like the industry was so solid and so strong for so long that everyone was like, well, this is awesome, and then no one forgot to like look in the rearview mirror and was like, who's behind us?
Well,
like who's coming up behind us to take over? So it's kind of interesting because I think you can definitely see sort of like a generational gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got sort of people that are on kind of like the twilight of their career, and then there's a lot of people that seem to be like either just beginning or into that 3 to 5-ish year experience range, and then there's just a whole breadth that's just kind of missing. Like 30-year-olds, there are not many like 30-year-olds in our industry, and it's almost like it's kind of interesting that way.
It skipped a generation is what you're getting at.
It skipped a generation.
Well, look at the people you've got working here. They're everybody within Sappi, within say Randall, and other printing companies and mills. They got the job, and everybody's like, "This is great. I don't want to leave. Why leave? It's such a great business. It's hands-on.
Yeah.
It's everything you could want."
The client base too is some of the hottest, youngest retailers in the country.
It's a career, not a job.
Right, exactly.
It is a career, and I think that's what I don't want to say that's what hurt, but you got people that are career and they stuck, and now they haven't looked to backfill, and so that's where we're kind of coming up and say we would like to see more of it, and
it's interesting.
It is. It's fun though. It's fun working with, because what comes with that too is the knowledge that they're passing down to us. And that's what I'm scared that's not going to be shared with the newer people coming into the industry as well.
Well, and I think what we've talked about in some of our other, couple of episodes that we have out there too, is that there is a willingness to want to pass on the baton, so to speak, too. It's not even like millennials are coming over and breaking the industry. No, we want to embrace the best parts of it, and then know some of the, especially on the digital side too, kind of understand how we can bring in our understanding of the world into print and change it a little bit and integrate with.
Make it our own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that in my experience too, and it seems like in yours too, is that has been really well received. You come in and they really bring you under their wing and teach you everything they know. There's no holding back.
If y'all told me that you didn't learn from, say your predecessors or the people you're under now, I would say you're lying, because I'm nowhere near what I could have been without the people who have helped me through my career so far, and who I work with. If I didn't have them, they hadn't taken me under my wing or their wing, you'd be a different person.
I think what's crazy too is sort of, it seems like, and I mean, this can appeal or not appeal. It just kind of depends on how you are. But for me, one of the things that I really liked about the print industry was there was no like gradual, like, okay, we're going to give you a bit of information here. You can like, it was kind of like, here's 30 years worth of experience. Like, eat it. And you're like, okay, this is amazing. Because I feel like it kind of cuts your learning curve a little bit. Where I think in most industries, it's like, okay, at 18 months, then you get to be X. At 27 months, then you get to be X. Where here it's like, how fast do you want to go? And it's kind of like, well, I want to go to the moon. So then they can
to the moon,
the rocket ship. Right? So that was kind of a cool experience. So obviously, you being in the print industry, I'm sure you've got friends that are outside of the print industry.
Sure, yeah.
What are kind of some of the major, I'll call it, like when you're talking with them, what are some of the major differences that you see in our industry than maybe some of, like as engineers or example or people that, you're kind of like friends with?
Sure. So if I look at my friend base and the people who I interact with outside the industry, it's I almost feel like it's very hard to explain what our industry does. Not does. I mean, it's, you break it down to the simplest form. Paper, ink, out the door, mail it, boom, simple. But you look at some of these other, some of my other friends, it's accounting, supply chain, it's all these more online type, not really sales. I don't have too many, friends that really do sales like what
like
we,
pure sales.
Yeah, pure sales, and the ability to take something, purely physical and show it to somebody and say, hey, this is what I can give you. The tangible aspect of our business is so much different, and that's what it's funny because that doesn't grasp all the time with some of them, and what we really do, and the scale of some of the stuff we do as well.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I think the scale is the biggest thing. You can talk scale and put it in a spreadsheet, but until you see scale, it's completely different. You go out in your warehouse right here, and you show someone that's never seen
paper
rolls.
Tons.
That is still one of the most mind-blowing things to me, even just in our warehouse and seeing the circulation of paper come in, especially in our busy season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I go out there, and it's absolutely mind-blowing how much paper is out there.
Well, you tell people, we sell paper to print on, and people are like, oh, okay.
I think
they're thinking like the ones that you get for your the office printer,
and we're like
just stacks of paper, Dunder Mifflin type stuff.
Dunder Mifflin, love that. But you just look at them and go, no, it's not. It's scale. Yeah. Scale is the thing.
One of the things too that I think is a little bit unique, or at least I think it's kind of an interesting concept, is that when you talk to people that really aren't from the industry about print, maybe especially millennials, I think what they have in their mind when you're talking about print of any kind is sort of this foolproof system where it's the same output every single time. They're not looking at it as a custom manufacturing in every job, right?
Yep.
So every tree is different. Therefore, that input, every paper roll is not, within a spec, but it's different. And depending on what was run on the press that day, that's going to be different depending on what's going on in the logistics stream. Yeah, so there's so many complexities to it, which I think is exciting, versus like, okay, here's this widget, sell it, going to be the same every single time for the most part.
And there's so many different grades of paper, basis weights, finishes, sizes. What you
it's
can
a never-ending list.
It's a never-ending list, and like you said, it's a day-to-day challenge, and it's custom manufacturing job every time.
Right.
And you got to realize, sure, we're in paper and printing, but we're in a manufacturing industry, and I think that's one of the cool parts about our business too. We're all manufacturing, and again, having something you can produce and see and feel, touch, share,
it changes things. And so I think what you guys were kind of getting at earlier too is this change of a stigma that's associated with the print and paper industry, that it is old, outdated, it's dying, it's whatever. It's very, very close. I did say it. We said we weren't going to say that.
Print's not dead.
But
print is not dead.
That is what I'm getting at, is that there was a stigma, or there is a stigma associated with it. Maybe even in our friend groups that it's not there anymore. But those that are in the industry, like us, know that it's not, and see the clients that come in, and the ones that have been pure e-tailers, started their whole entire businesses on e-com
for forever.
And now, for forever.
By the way.
Right.
For forever.
And they're coming in and being like, print sounds awesome. Like, let's do this. How do I do this?
Those are some of the like the best customers right now.
100%.
Super
Absolutely.
cool. Seeing all these digitally native companies come in and say, we want to print, and you getting your direct mail catalog, print brochure, whatever it is, in the mail for a company that you've seen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're
everywhere but print. You've literally seen them everywhere but print.
Yeah, is sweet because it's a new medium, and it's a great way to engage, because you see a company like that and they're investing in their customers, and they want to get more customers.
Right.
The thing that's awesome too is, or what I'm seeing a lot of is, there's a couple things. So one, when people first get into print for the first time, they don't know the rules, which is also a super cool opportunity, because they ask like off the wall questions like, can we do this? And you're like,
I've never thought about
I've
that.
never really thought about that, but
Cool.
maybe there is a way to do that. So like, that's been super cool, because I think they inherently challenge the tradition in what's set. So it kind of makes you, okay, like, we need to evolve. It kind of makes you think differently about just simple things, right? That we're just like, well, this is established. Well, then we're kind of like, well, wait, why is this established?
Can I put this here? And you're like, oh, I guess we could. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, that's been really cool. And then I think the other thing that I've seen a lot of is, for the most part, and there's obviously a handful of exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, when digitally native brands first come into the print, it's usually in a testing capacity. But I would say 97, 99%.
It's a big number.
Once they're in print, they're like, how do we scale it? How do we grow it? They see the returns. So it's, and it's like almost like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, they just discovered a new way to acquire customers, retain customers.
It goes to
it just totally is.
And build the relationship with the customer over time, right?
It's
Make
awesome.
them a lifetime customer.
So here's a question that y'all could think about. So the customers we work with now that are, say, digitally native companies that come to print, I wonder if we're going to, from that industry or, those type companies, if some people will transition over into print and come to work for print. You know what I'm saying?
You never know, right?
I
mean, I think it's an interesting thought too, because what we're getting at too is this overcoming of a stigma that I think is you just see it in other publications, other things being written about print. That stigma is like kind of over with, and people are like, Harvard Business Review wrote that article last year that basically gave attribution to why print is evolving again, why catalogs are great, why all this direct mail is great. And I think that might ultimately attract more younger people back to the industry.
Because we're talking about engaging people. How do we get them?
How do we get young people?
Yeah, how do we get young people? And that's going to be one of the ways that the more we connect with new brands, new companies, ultimately we may attract them to say, hey, come check out our side of the industry. Come check out what, who you get to work with and touch, feel, experience different experience of the business. Might be an interesting thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the interesting things a little bit, and I'm a big fan of the print industry, but one of the things that I think the print industry did itself a real disservice because we for so long are almost like the printing industry's mantra was like print's not dead.
I knew you were going to go
Not
there.
dead.
I knew you were going to go there.
I'm like, if you would just stop saying print is dead, everyone would stop thinking print is dead. Like
Right.
print's evolving. It was just kind of I don't want to say it was a failed PR strategy, right?
Is that a saying within the industry or outside the industry? I think it's a saying within the industry.
I think it's a saying that was within the industry that then led to people being on the outside the industry being like, well, obviously print's dead. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep telling us print's not dead, right? It's like the inverse. So I think what's interesting is it seems to me now, and it took us a while to get there as an industry, but now it seems like there's this counter narrative that's not so much based on like print's not dead. It's like, okay, here are the brands.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the data and facts behind why print is still relevant, or you know what I mean. So it's less of this like emotional like appeal argument, and it's like, okay, here's the response rates of direct mail,
and
here's what you're talking about with digital,
and that's where
builds a case.
The industry needs to get better at too, is understanding those response rates. You know, all that stuff. It's a great learning opportunity for the business, and as we grow the industry, we're going to have a better understanding of how we can really quantify how print really drives sales and how the engagement. We've got numbers out there, and we actually have a lot of great PR pieces that kind of break down some of that. So check out.
Yeah, shameless plug. Sappi does an awesome job of educating the industry. You guys, really
Neuroscience of Touch was one of the first like things that I kind of read when I came into the industry a few years ago.
Yeah,
and that kind of like was a game changer for me because I read the book, I watched the videos, and
you came from a digital.
I came from an all digital background. Yeah, exactly.
So that's literally your target.
Yeah,
market is right here.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, like you said, Neuroscience of Touch, any of our new haptics pieces out there, the one regarding colleges and universities, I think that's a super interesting one to check out. Our most latest one is the fashion industry. You go through any of those pieces and just look at some of the information that our marketing team has put together to really inform the industry on what print does and who's engaging with it and how print's changing. It's great content, data dump. It's a lot to take in.
All right, so as we all know, things are pretty crazy out in the world right now, kind of after last year's pandemic. Just supply and demand for everything is just insane. We're all super busy. Are you guys seeing some of the same things?
I don't think there's anybody out there that's not busy right now or that's not able to keep up. It's all supply and demand driven. If you look at, for y'all, for example, the appetite for print, like you said, more and more customers are coming into the industry. That's meaning more constraints on paper. It's a interesting time to be in paper and print, and that's what we want, though, right?
It is a good thing, right? Ultimately, it's a good thing that demand is high, but I think everybody wants to do everything they possibly can to serve their customers the absolute best that they can, and sometimes it's not always 100% possible, right? With the challenges that are out there.
What's tough is like you don't want to say no to anybody, right? And it's kind of tough when you're getting put in a position, and it's a supply and demand. There's a finite amount of supply, and there's seems to be right now an infinite amount of demand. So that equation's just not balanced. So you just don't ever want to turn someone away because you don't know what they could or could not become, that kind of thing. But no, I mean, coming off of 2020 was probably a rough year for everyone. So it's good to see that things are just like ramped way up.
Yeah,
so
it's a weird switch that
good
flipped.
Challenge.
But ultimately look at what else is going on right now, and the customer base and how we are able to support people out there in the market. Is we just want to be good stewards to the industry, and we want to make sure that we're supporting our customers that support us. And so that's my objective right now, and I think that's everybody's objective, and not just within paper, but you look at print, you look at the logistics market, anything. Everybody's the same way right now. There's such a weirdly high demand for everything across the board. Everybody's trying to do the same things, just saying we just want to be the best partners we can be to our customers and try to support them as much as we can, because who knows when anything's going to slow down anytime soon.
And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no.
off. Well, I think that's an interesting point too, is that our customers are experiencing the same issues with their businesses. So that's making them even more understanding of what's going on in ours.
It's a crazy time. I mean, it seems like, especially from a manufacturing standpoint, it's just every input's going up.
Mm-hmm.
So you look across, the industry, and it's like every variable that you need is going up. So it's just,
So what are some things maybe that that you've done or that Sappi has done to like serve customers in this time outside of just the ones and twos, just the business? Are you guys like going out to lunches again? Are you guys trying to do a happy hour? Are you guys just communicating more, having more phone calls, whatever it is?
Sure. So we're being careful. Having the direction of the company is we just want to be careful. We want to do what our customers want and what the direction our company wants. So, for example, coming in here, I'm vaccinated. Everybody is. Still got my temperature checked. Signed your little waiver, and I think everybody just wants to be careful because you don't want to get into.
We're on a good streak right now.
Yeah, we're on a good streak.
Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it up.
Going.
Keep it going.
But there is a little bit more going on.
Yeah, there is
what you're saying. Yeah.
There is. So it's nice. Customers are a little bit looser to see you. It's nicer, open environment, open settings.
Starting to open up again a little.
Yeah. But to that point too is outdoor meetings as well.
Yeah.
Safe spaces, whatever the customers are comfortable with doing, which I'm totally fine for. I'm just happy to be in front of people again.
Yeah.
Zoom is fine. Microsoft.
Sure. Zoom's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Right? It's fine.
Not great.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's fine.
But there's nothing better than just getting in front of somebody and just chatting it up and having a good time and having laughs face to face. And in our business too, in sales, you feed off other people's interactions and their movements. So it's like a dance. We're all good at dancing here.
Are you saying you want to dance with me?
I'll go dancing with you.
That'll be in the blooper reel. I think what you bring up is another interesting point in that I think a lot of people think that in millennials in our generation it would be a lost art of face-to-face communication because we preferred being behind the phone. And I don't even think I speak for just us three because we all prefer to be in person.
Mm-hmm.
I think our generation has since corrected itself, knowing especially from the pandemic that not everything can get accomplished the way you want it to. My happiness is not always fulfilled being behind a screen. It's been nice to work from home. It's been nice to have
It's been awesome.
tools to
love
do.
It.
It's great, right? It is great.
Yeah.
But that it's not the same as having a hybrid or being able to do one or the other.
Yeah, and I think, the concept of digital fatigue is like real.
Oh,
absolutely.
For sure.
And so there's kind of like this, it's interesting because I think sometimes theoretical stuff is great. Like, well, why isn't all of our stuff on Zoom, or why do we travel, or why do we do face-to-face? And like, that's all a great theoretical question. But then until you're in a global pandemic and you have to do it, then you're like, now that you've experienced it, you're like, okay, well, I never want to do that again. Where I'm only, so it's a combination. It's like anything, right? There's
not
got to
for
be
months
some
on end,
level
at
of
least.
a balance,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I think there's a stat out there. There's a stat out there somewhere, and I don't know what exactly is, but what was one industry that was hurt from the invention of a conference call? It was airlines. Because they were able to
you just pick up a phone and call.
Pick up a phone and call. And so I don't know if that was an 80s, 90s thing when conference calls got invented, but I just remember seeing that. And so you reference that to now. How do Zoom meetings affect our actual meetings? What are you able to accomplish with, say, doing something online, or what's more effective with doing it in person? So it's a new way to understanding what's our balancing act and how do we figure out how we can be more effective in business. And personally, I don't know if that would have happened if we didn't have COVID.
I don't think that full transition would have ever taken place.
There's a silver lining.
There is.
Like, I mean,
and obviously it's not like our hearts go out to
change. Accelerant of change to some degree. So.
Hearts go out to everybody affected by the
course.
pandemic. It affected everybody, but you have to look at it in that regard too, where what changes did it affect?
Yeah,
right.
So it is a silver lining. I just not thought of that.
So. One of the questions that I definitely wanted to ask you was what do you think is the best way to reach out or to kind of get in front of young people? Like, do you think it's social media? Do you think it's through word of mouth? Do you think it's events? Like, what in your mind resonates the most, I think, with people that are potential, let's call it candidates for the industry?
Yeah, I'm your target market. So what do I like, Konrad? Tell me what I like. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Likes beer.
Yeah, beer. Well, I want to go back to what we talked about earlier. I think it's the more we engage with new customers out there, the more we engage with potential people, candidates to actually come into the industry, because they're the ones getting the first-hand experience and to look at what we do. And someone who has never experienced print but is thinking of all these new ideas and these creative ways, you as a company that's calling on, say, X companies, like, we really like this person. Maybe
they should come on board.
Maybe they should come on board. And so a little bit of poaching will happen there. We take them from their company to come onto yours, and it backfills that way for them. But I'm personally in favor of that method right now, figuring out how we can engage more and more people, more and more customers, and from there we can open up the door for people to come over from other industries into ours. And from there, I would say, aside from that, what we're kind of doing right now, we've started Printers Under 40. I'm also part of the MPTA Emerging Leaders Committee, and being engaged with other youth in the industry right now, we spread the word, and not to say that print's not the best form of communication, but word of mouth is right up there. So having other people advocating for print on our behalf draws people in and gets them interested and curious. And right now, we talk about supply and demand. There's a huge demand for jobs out there,
right?
And people, we can't backfill.
Yeah.
So having that out there, saying, hey, come check out print. Hey, come, grass might be greener over here. Come check it out. Paper's pretty cool. Print's pretty cool. It's manufacturing.
And I think an additional effect of that too is maybe you're working with these people, maybe they're content with their companies, but they're talking to their friends or their colleagues about what this great print vendor, print provider did for them, you know, and the great people they work with. I think that's an additional impact on the industry, you know?
It is. And we have to market ourselves too. If people aren't going to know about it, so we don't market.
That's a big thing.
Marketing
yourself.
You're like, hey, tell me, you're just an average person. Hey, tell me a printer out there. And they'll look at you like, what? Who, where, how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I definitely think that's part of it. I think one of the other things, and this is just, again, a wild theory from me, but I've never hired anyone with a background in print.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something to that, though, to some degree, because I think one of the things that we got, but the print industry has at times, I think, this jaded idea that in order for people to understand print or be effective in print, they need to have this like robust print background.
And have gone to school for print and high school credentials in print.
All this stuff.
And,
But what's hilarious is the expertise already exists within your organization. To all of our earlier point, there are people that have been there 30 years that have been in the print industry. They're going to have more knowledge than you're ever going to get in a 4-year education, right? You don't inherently need to bring someone on that has a background in print. What you need to bring on is someone that's talented, that's willing to learn. You can learn print.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's I think another thing is at times I think the scope for what we consider potential candidates for a career in print is too narrow. I think you got to open it up and just say, hey, this is a super cool industry. There's a ton of people that know a lot about it that can teach you the ropes.
There's a couple couple cool young guys too. Hey, come hang out.
That side of the table.
Come hang out with us. We'll tell you a little about it.
Well, and that's the thing too is you're provided the on-the-job training that you need to be effective at your job, right? And that you wouldn't. I mean, how much did we? No offense to college, but how much did we really learn that was helpful in this job from college?
A lot.
A couple.
University of Arkansas. Whoop pig. Whoop pig.
But honestly, a few percentage points, right? I mean, not to diss college because it's necessary for, you know, if you're going into that type of role. But in addition to that, we have great production careers, manufacturing careers that you get all the training that you need, and you don't even have to go to school.
Yeah, I mean that's that's another thing too is, I think inherently this conversation is leaning towards more of the office just because that's what we do, right? We're sort of in that office side of the equation. But from a production standpoint too, I mean, amazing career potential, amazing opportunities.
The career, the money earning potential is still great. It's a great career that I don't think is considered enough in the general, employment marketplace.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, some of the people we take on the mill. One of the part of the internship I did at the Somerset Mill, got to meet a lot of the production folk and some of the experience that they have too, and the way we're not we're backfilling, but not at the rate at which we need. So going back to losing all that talent, just think about the production talent we could lose.
Yeah,
you talk about office, you talk about sales. Now just look about production. You know, what a pressman can do on one of y'all's massive webs is something that's learned over time, and trying to finagle it and trying to figure out how they can get on. Same thing with the paper machine, understanding a paper machine. Now, a lot of it's really shifted towards a technology-based, computer system, which is fine, but that's still old school.
There's still
paper.
elements of it.
Yeah, there's still elements where the old school paper maker, old school printer knows a thing or two, and you're like, that's you need, how do you put that? How do you replace that?
Yeah,
got to backfill it somehow, and so we need more. And everybody needs more people.
Yeah, I think that's
no doubt.
A fair statement, like across the industry. So.
Yep. All right. So here again, shameless plug, giving you the free will, Konrad.
Okay.
Give us a little bit of a breakdown of the paper grades, the paper offerings that Sappi does offer.
Yeah. We offer a number of grades. So you look at we'll go over what's produced at our Somerset Mill first. So
for those,
and that's your flagship mill. Right,
they're all flagship.
They're all flagships.
Somerset and
Wow.
Cloquet. They're both great mills. Obviously, you guys have gotten to see Somerset.
Yep.
Huge.
It's the one that I consider the flagship then, because it's the one of one that I visited.
Sure. Yeah, they're the one of one, but they both have their unique characteristics to them. The size and scale, the production capacity out of those two mills, they're great. And both products. All the products that come out of those mills are top-notch, and, can't get over it. But Somerset, we'll start there. We actually just rebuilt our number one machine to produce our new line of packaging grades, which is Spectro and Proto. And off that machine now, we can produce our packaging grades and also our heavyweight web, which is our Somerset. We can produce Opus web. And we have 3 different machines in Somerset there. And then you look at our Cloquet mill, and that's where we produce our really a lot of our sheets and our specialized cellulose. But from there, we can produce our flow sheets, our Opus, our McCoy web. We also have label as well. C1S label, luster coat. We have another large grade that we bring in from Europe. It's called EuroArt. That's produced in Europe as well, and that's comes in domestic supply. So we really have, you look at the breadth of things, we got Spectro, we have Flow, we have Opus, McCoy, we have luster coat, we have EuroArt. We have quite a number of products and grades that support different needs to the industry and customers, and each of those grades are top of the line for printing capabilities on a coated sheet standpoint. So if you get the opportunity, if you haven't ran any of them, definitely check them out. Any questions, our website is full of answers for understanding them. And what I think my biggest goal for the future is having guys like y'all understanding our grades and what different products are out there, capabilities, and because that's where it'll come down to eventually is you understanding. If you come into print more, you need to understand what grades you can offer your customers and what the best solution is here. Do you want a crisper image? Do you want a an uncoated look? What's really your what's really your preference, Mr. Customer? And you say, oh, we should check out Sappi. Oh, if you get the chance, let's go to the mill. Something like that. So that's where I would say learn the grades, but they're all great.
how they change the tactile experience, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of
they
what
do.
you're getting at.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
brand,
how each
right?
individual.
The brand experience.
Yeah, exactly. What fits your brand the best? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a little bit cheaper stock? Are you looking to spend a little bit more money, give it a nice, better finish? You know,
Sure.
I think that whole conversation, as somebody that is newer to the industry, is interesting. It's really different because at first look, at first touch, everything, the stock really matters a lot to your perception of the brand.
Well, and the whole thing with weight as well. What's the perceived weight of it? You know, if you give something, it's in our neuroscience book as well. But the perceived weight of something, if you hand something that's got the
value,
the value associated with the weight of the paper really makes a difference. There's stuff that has to do with postal, you know, your 7 and 9 point. I'm sure you guys know a little bit about that. Actually, who was on your previous podcast?
It wasn't our previous podcast. Thank you. Shameless plug for me and Jake too. Episode 3, Susan Pinter. Check it out.
Yeah.
All postal stuff.
Queen of Postal.
But there's perceived weights for that has to be postal certified. It's just crazy. But the touch and feel of something quality, you just know. And that's, I think that's what's cool about the manufacturing side of the business, is being able to see something that you produce and say then you guys apply ink to, and now you've just got this overall great experience where, number one, for y'all and other customers that have been to the mills, you see and understand the whole process of how our sheet is made, and now applying ink to it and saying this goes into, you know, your hands again. It's the complete picture, which I think is cool. You understand the complete picture.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, just to be conscious of everybody's time, conscious of your time as well. I know you're a busy guy, Texas Wonder Kid. Obviously, he's a busy guy.
Hell yeah, brother.
Did you have any final thoughts, anything you wanted to add to wrap up the show?
No, I would just say keep fighting the good fight. Well, get out there again. And I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is a great experience, and I'm happy to see that 2 millennials in print are out there advocating for it. So the more people we can get, the better. Yeah.
Join the team.
Come to print.
Join the team.
Well, thanks again for joining. Thanks again, everybody, for watching episode 5 with Konrad, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Great. Thanks.
See ya. Love you guys.